My dear Nisa, shall we rest here, and by relating tales of others' griefs, see if 'twill teach us to forget our own? That were to blow at fire and hope to quench it, for who digs hills because they do aspire, throws down one mountain to cast up a higher. Ah, my distressed lord, even such our griefs are. Here they are, but felt and seen with mischief's eyes. But like to groves being topped, they higher rise. Oh, my dear Nisa, who wanteth food and will not say he wants it, or can conceal his hunger till he famish? Our tongues and sorrows force us to sound deep our woes into the air, our eyes to weep till tongues fetch breath that may proclaim them louder, that if heaven slumber while their creatures want, they may awake their helpers to comfort them. I'll then discourse our woes. Got several years and wanting breath to speak, help me with tears. I'll do my best. This Tarsus, of which I have the government, a city on whom plenty held full in hand, for riches strewed herself even in her streets, whose towers bore heads so high they kissed the clouds, and strangers ne'er beheld but wondered at, whose men and dames so jetted and adorned, like one another's glass to trim them by. The tables were stored full to glad the sight, and not so much to feed on as delight. All poverty was scorned, and pride so great, the name of help grew odious to repeat. Oh, 'tis too true. But see what heaven can do by this our change. These mouths, who but of late earth's seed air, were all too little to content and please. Although they gave their creatures in abundance, as houses are defiled for want of use. They are now starved for want of exercise. Those palates who, not yet to summers younger, must have inventions to delight the taste, would now be glad of bread and beg for it. Those mothers who to nuzzle up their babes thought not too curious are ready now to eat those little darlings whom they loved. So sharp are hunger's teeth that man and wife draw lots of who first shall die to lengthen life. Here stands a lord and there a lady weeping. Here may sink yet those which we see them fall, have scarce strength left to give them burial. Is not this true? Our cheeks and hollow eyes do witness it. Oh, let those cities that have plenty's cup and her prosperity so largely taste with their superfluous rites, hear these tears, the misery of Tarsus may be theirs. Where's the Lord Governor? Here. Speak out thy sorrows which thou bringest in haste, for comfort is too far for us to expect. We have descried upon a neighbouring shore a portly sail of ships make hitherward. I thought as much. One sorrow never comes, but brings an heir that may succeed as his inheritor. And so in ours, some neighboring nation, taking advantage of our misery, hath stuffed the hollow vessels with their power to beat us down, the which are down already and make a conquest of unhappy me. Whereas no glory is got to overcome. That's the least fear. For by the semblance of their white flags displayed, they bring us peace and come to us as favourers, not as foes. Thou speakest like hymns untutored to repeat, who makes The fairest show means most deceit. What bring they want, they will, and what they can, what need we fear. Our ground's the lowest, and we are halfway there. Go tell their general we attend him here, to know for what he comes, and whence he comes, and what he craves. I go, my lord. Welcome is peace if he on peace consist, if wars we are unable to resist.
The front entrance is open for employees. They should let you guys in.
Heracles, Lord govern. For so we hear you are. Let not our ships and number of our men be like a beacon fired to amaze your eyes. We have heard your miseries as far as Tyre and seen the desolation of your streets. Nor come we to add sorrow to your tears, but to relieve them of our heavy load. These are ships you happily may think are like a Trojan horse, with stuff within, with bloody veins expecting overthrow. Are stored with corn to make your needy bread, and give them life whom hunger starved have dead. The gods of Greece protect you, and will pray for you. Arise, I pray you, rise. We do not look for reverence, but for love and harborage for ourselves, our ships and men. The which, when any shall not gratify or pay you with unthankfulness in thought, but at our wives, be it our wives, our children, or ourselves, the curse of heaven and men succeed their evils till when, the which I hope shall ne'er be seen, your grace is welcome to our town and us. Which welcome we will accept. Feast here a while, until our stars that frown lend us a smile. Here have you seen a mighty king, his child Awis to incest bring? A better prince and benign lord, that would prove awful both in deed and word. Be quiet then, as men should be, till he hath passed necessity. I'll show you those in trouble's reign, losing a mite, a mountain gain. The good in conversation, to whom I give my benison, is still at Tarsus, where each man thinks all is writ he speaking can, and to remember what he does. Build a statue to make him glorious, but tidings to the contrary are brought to your eyes. What need speak I? Good Helicaine, that stayed at home, not to eat honey like a drone from others' labours. Fourthly, he strived to kill and bad, keep good alive, and to fill his prince's desires, sends word of all that haps in Tyre. How Thalion come full bent with sin, and hid intent to murder him, and that in Tarsus was not best longer for him to make his rest. He doing so put forth to seas, where when men bend their seldom ease, for now the wind begins to blow. Thunder above and deeps below make such unquiet that the ship should house him safe in his racked and splits. And he, good prince, having all lost by waves from coast to coast, is tossed, all perishing of man, of pelf. And he ought escape but himself, for fortune tired with doing bad threw him ashore to give him glad. And here he comes. What shall be next? Pardon, old Gower. This longs the text. Yet cease your ire. You angry stars of heaven, wind, rain, and thunder, remember earthly man is but a substance that must yield to you. And I, as fits my nature, do obey you. Alas, the seas hath cast me on the rocks, washed me from shore to shore, and left my breath nothing to think on but ensuing death. Let it suffice the greatness of your powers to have bereft a prince of all his fortunes, and having thrown him from your watery grave, here to have death in peace is all he'll crave. What ho, Pilch? Come and bring away the nets. What, Patch Breach, I say? What say you, master? Look how thou stirrest now. Come away, or I'll fetch thee with a wanyan. Faith, master, I am thinking of the poor men that were cast away before us even now. Alas, poor souls, it grieved my heart to hear what pitiful cries they made to us to help them when out that day we could scarce help ourselves. Nay, master, said not I as much when I saw the porpoise, how he bounced and tumbled. They say they're half fish, half flesh, a plague on them. They never come, but I look to be washed, master. I marvel how the fishes live in the sea. Why, as men do a land, the great ones eat up the little ones. I can compare our rich misers to nothing so fitly as to a whale ablaze and tumbles, driving the poor fry before him. And at last devour them all at a mouthful. Such whales have I heard on the land, who never leave gaping till they swallow the whole parish church, steeple bells and all. A pretty moral. But, master, if I had been the sexton, I would have been that day in the belfry. Why, man? Because he should have swallowed me too, and when I had been in his belly, I would have kept such a jangling of the bells that he should never have left till he cast bells, steeple, church, and parish up again. But if the good King Simonides were of my mind, Simonides, we would purge the land of these drones that robbed the bee of her honey. Now from the finny subject of the sea, these fishes tell the infirmities of men, and from their watery empire recollect, and that men approve of men detect. Peace be at your labor, honest fisherman. Honest good fellow. What's that? If it be a day fits you, search out of the calendar, and nobody looks after it. May the sea hath cast upon your coast. What a drunken knave was the sea to cast thee in our way. A man whom both the waters and the wind in that vast tennis court hath made the ball for them to play upon, and treats you pity him. He asks of you that never used to beg. Now, friend, cannot you beg? Here's them in our country of Greece gets more with begging than we do with working. Canst thou catch any fishes, then? I never practiced it. Nay, then, thou wilt starve, sure, for here's nothing to be got nowadays unless thou canst fish for it. What I have been, I have forgot to know. But what I am, what teaches me to think I'm a man thronged up with cold. My veins are chill, and have no more of life than may suffice to give my tongue what heed to ask your help, which if you shall refuse when I am dead, for that I am a man, pray you see me buried. Die, quotha. Now God's forbid it, and I have a gown here. Come, put it on, keep thee warm. Now, afore me a handsome fellow, come, thou shalt go home, and we'll have flesh for holidays, fish for fasting days, and more o'er, puddings and flapjacks, and thou shalt be welcome. I thank you, sir. Hark you, my friend, sir, you said you could not beg. I did not, I did but crave. But crave! Then I'll turn craver too, and so I shall escape whipping. Why are your beggars whipped then? Oh, not all, my friend, not all, for if all your beggars were whipped, I would wish no better office than to be beadle. But master, I'll go drop the nets. How will this honest mirth becomes their labor? Hark you, sir, do you know where we are? Not where. Why? I'll tell you. This is called Pentapolis, and King the Good Simonides. The Good Simonides, do you call him? Aye, sir, and he deserves so to be called for his peaceable reign and good government. He is a happy king, since he gains from his subjects the name of good by his government. How far is his court distant from this shore? Marry, sir, half a day's journey. And I'll tell you, he hath a fair daughter, and tomorrow is her birthday, and there are princes and knights come from all parts of the world to joust and tourney for her love. Were my fortunes equal to my desires, I could wish to make one there. Ah, sir, things must be as they may, and what a man cannot get, he may lawfully deal for his wife's soul. Help, master, help! Here's a fish hangs in the net like a poor man's knight right in the law. 'Twill hardly come out. Ah, but on it 'tis come at last, and 'tis turned to a rusty armor. An armor, friends. I pray you let me see it. Thanks fortune yet, that after all thy crosses thou givest me somewhat to repair myself, and though it was mine own part of my heritage, which my dead father did bequeath to me, with this strict charge, even as he left his life, keep it, my Pericles. It hath been a shield twixt me and death, and pointed to this brace, for that it saved me, keep it. In like necessity, the which the gods protect thee from, may it defend thee. It kept where I kept, I so dearly loved it. To the rough seas it spares not any man, took it in rage. Though calm to have given it again, I thank thee for it. My shipwreck now is no ill. Since I have here, my father gave in his will. What mean you, sir? To beg of you, kind friends, this coat of worth, for it was sometime target to a king. I know it by this mark. He loved me dearly, and for his sake I wish the having of it, and that you'd guide me to your sovereign's court, where with it I may appear a gentleman. And if that ever my low fortunes better, I'll pay your bounties, to then rest your debtor. Why, wilt thou, tourney for the lady? I'll show the virtue I have borne in arms. Why, do you take it, and the gods give thee good on it? Aye, but hark you, my friend, 'twas we that made up this garment through the rough seams of the waters. There's certain condolements, certain veils. I hope, sir, if you thrive, you'll remember from whence you had them. Believe it, sir, believe it I will. By your furtherance, I'm clothed in steel, in spite of all the rapture of the sea. This jewel holds his building on my arm. Unto thy value I will mount myself upon a courser whose delightful steps shall make the gaze our joy to see him tread. Only, my friend, I yet am unprovided of a pair of bases. This shall provide. Thou shalt have my best gown to make thee a pair. And I'll bring thee to the court myself. Then honor be but a go to my will. This day I'll rise, or else add ill to ill. the knights ready to begin the triumph? They are, my liege, and stay your coming to present themselves. Return them, we are ready, and a daughter here in honor of whose birth these triumphs are, sits here like beauty's child, whom nature gat for me to see, and seeing wonder at. It pleaseth you, my royal father, to express my commendations great, whose merits less. It's fit it should be so. For princes are a model which heaven makes like to itself, as jewels lose their glory if neglected, so princes their renowns if not respected. 'Tis now your honor, daughter, to entertain the labor of each knight in his device, which, to preserve mine honor, I'll perform. Who is the first that doth prefer himself? A knight of Sparta, my renowned father, and the device he bears upon his shield is a black Ethiop reaching at the sun. The word, lux tua vitan mihi. He loves you well that holds his life of you. Who is the second that presents himself? A prince of Macedon, my royal father, and the device he bears upon his shield is an armed knight that's conquered by a lady. The motto thus in Spanish: Più per docera che per forza. The third knight passes by. And with the third, and the third of Antioch, and his device a wreath of chivalry, the word, Me pompe provexit apex. The fourth knight passes by. What is the fourth? A burning torch that's turned upside down, the word, Qui me alit me extinguit, which shows that beauty hath his power and will, which can as well inflame as it can kill. The fifth knight passes by. The fifth, and hand environed with clouds, holding out gold that's by the touchstone tried. The motto thus, Sic spectanda fides. The sixth knight, Pericles, passes by. And what's the sixth and last, the which the knight himself with such a graceful courtesy delivered? He seems to be a stranger, but his present is a withered branch that's only green at top, the motto, in hoc spevivo. A pretty moral. From the dejected state wherein he is, he hopes by you his fortunes yet may flourish. He had need mean better than his outward show can any way speak in his just commend, for by his rusty outside he appears to have practised more the shipwreck than the lance. He well may be a stranger, for he comes to an honoured triumph strangely furnishing, and on set purpose that this his armour rust unto this day to scour it in the dust. Opinions, but a fool that makes us scan the outward habit by the inward man. But say the knights are coming, we will withdraw to the gallery. Knights, to say your welcome were superfluous. To place upon the volume of your deeds, as in a titled page, your worth in arms, or more than you expect, or more than's fit. Since every worth and show commends itself, prepare for mirth becomes a feast. You are princes and my guests. But you, my knight and guest, to whom this wreath of victory I give, and crown you king of his day's happiness. 'Tis more by fortune, lady, than my merits. Call it by what you will. The day is yours, and here I hope is none that envies it. In framing an artist, art hath thus decreed to make some good, but others to exceed. And you are her laboured scholar, come, queen of the feast, for daughter so you are, here take your place. Marshal the rest as they deserve their grace. We are honoured much by good Simonides. Your presence glads our days. Honor we love, for who hates honor hates the gods above. Sir, yonder is your place. Some other is more fit. Contend not, sir, for we are gentlemen, have neither in our hearts nor outward eyes envy the great, nor shall the low despise. You are right courteous knights. Sit, sir, sit. By Jove, I wonder that it's this king of thoughts. These cates resist me, he but thought upon. By Juno, that is queen of marriage. All viands that I eat do seem unsavory, wishing him my meat. Sure, he's a gallant gentleman. He's but a country gentleman. He has done no more than other knights have done. He has broken a staff or so. So let it pass. To me, he seems like diamond to glass. Young kings to me like to my father's picture, which tells me in what glory once he was, had princes sit like stars upon his throne, and he the sun for them to reverence, none that beheld him but like lesser lights did veil their crowns to his supremacy. Where now his sun's like a glowworm in the night, the which hath fire in darkness, none in light. Whereby you see the times, the king of men, he's both the parent and he is their grave, and gives them what he will, not what they crave. What? Are you merry, knights? Who can be other in this royal presence? Here with a cup that's stored unto the brim, as you do love, fill to your mistress' lips, we drink this health to you. We thank your grace. Yet pause a while. Yon knight doth sit too melancholy, as if the entertainment in our court had not a show might countervail his worth. Note it, not you. Taste some. What is it to me, my father? Oh, attend, my daughter, princes in this should live like gods above, to freely give to everyone that come to honor them, and princes not doing so are like to gnats, which make a sound but kill are wondered at, therefore to make his entrance more sweet. Here say we drink the standing bowl of wine to him. Alas, my father, it befits not me unto a stranger knight to be so bold. He may proffer take him for an offence, since men take women's gifts for impudence. How? Do as I bid you, or you'll move me else. Now, by the gods, and could not please me better. And furthermore, tell him we desire to know of him, of whence he is, his name and parentage. The king, my father, sir, has drunk to you. I thank him, wishing it so much blood into your life. I thank both him and you, and pledge him freely. And further he desires to know of you, of whence you are, your name and parentage. A gentleman of Tyre, my name Pericles. Education been in arts and arms, who, looking for adventures in the world, was by the rough seas reft of ships and men, and afterward shipwrecked, driven upon the shore. He thanks your grace, names himself Pericles, a gentleman of Tyre, who only by misfortune of the seas, bereft of ships and men, cast on this shore. by the gods, I pity misfortune and will awake him from this melancholy. Come, gentlemen. We sit too long on trifles and waste the time which looks for other revels. Even in your armors as you are addressed will well become a soldier's dance. I will not have excuse with saying this. Loud music is too harsh for ladies' heads, since they love men in arms as well as beds. So this was well asked, 'twas so well performed. Come, sir, here's a lady that wants breathing to, and I've heard you knights of Tyre are excellent in making ladies trip, and that their measures are as excellent. In those that practice them they are, my lord. Oh, that's as much as you would be denied of your fancy fair courtesy. Unclasp, thanks, gentlemen, to all. All have done well, but you, the best, pages and lights to conduct these knights unto their several lodgings. Yours, sir, we have given order be next our own. I am at your grace's pleasure. Princes, it is too late to talk of love. That's the mark I know you level at. Therefore each one betake him to his rest. Tomorrow, all but speeding to their best.